Welcome to another episode of A Lovely Snack with Dr. Lovelee. Today I'm gonna be snacking with a friend who is also a colleague in the industry. We're gonna be talking all things health related and also just bringing the human aspect into the doctor side of life. So hope you stay tuned in for the whole episode. And in order for the family and community to grow, you need to like, subscribe, and share with your other communities on _. Welcome, Dr. G. Also known as my friend, Dr. Tidu Gule. Dr. G is on social media. So no Dr. G in my house.
She's not a real person.
You can be a Dr. G there by Instagram. I'm gonna OTD, Matiriso. You're my nana. I'm the big sister. So
thank you for having me. I hope that I'm not even doing it right. This is why she makes fun of me.
Welcome to my home.
Thank you.
I've prepared this lovely snack for you.
Lalela wellness is radiating.
I've gone all cliche. It's all the snacks that I love.
I'm invested.
And people say, I'm over the top when it comes to healthy whatever.
Okay.
You know, by the way, yes. You're not allergic to nuts, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Pistachios are my favorite. This is like Derby cheese, whatever. It's infused with sage.
What?
Because we are healers.
In there, puppets.
Yes, we are healers. Makosi. I was like, this is so cliche, but I'm going for it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So you got your biltong, your dried fruits. I've got baked crackers, baked rice crackers.
Okay,
so so on the healthier side of that. And then the cheese is the mascarpone because that's my favorite also.
Okay.
Dark chocolate obviously, and dark chocolate goes very well with the red wine. My red wine.
The way we're so allowed this glass, I'm not even apologizing.
Because I think traditionally it's like that saying red wine is good for the heart and lung journey. I mean, I can go to town about that and see whether it's true or not. But asikola posila. So thanks for coming to my home.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm gonna ask you some questions, and I'm gonna probably answer the same questions with you, so that we can just feed off of each other's energy.
They're gonna see what we do when we're not working.
When you're not working, we're together, and people think we gossip about patients. No, we might, but we can neither deny or confirm that. But we also talk about other things, and mostly us, right?
And I take our secrets to the grave. But anyways, exactly. Okay.
Why did you become a doctor?
Okay. When I was 13.
Yes, that's one. That one.
You know what? The best people to answer this is actually my family. I wish they were here because word on the street is, as young as 13, I ran up to the parents. There was this encyclopedia called World Books. Back in the day when our parents, So there was this volume that had been purchased at Kaya, and I went straight for the science one. Completely in love, right? And then I turned around and I said to my parents, I was about to order. Of course, at that age, they were like, But I was really intentional because there were doctors in my hood that I admired. Okay. So I was fascinated by this thing. But go, hello, white. Remember those white suits? Highlanders say, okay,
they used to wear these white shirts, right?
Exactly.
They were mostly clean. But it can starched.
Yes. Yes. And then Nalea, you need briefcase in there.
That's one, the doctor's bag.
Babes, that swag was lit for me. Lit. So I was like, I want to be these people. They come in, they go into people's houses, and then Ukoko gets better. What is the magic? What's the magic that they're doing? So that's when I fell in love with it. I started shadowing family friends who were a couple, and they were both doctors. So I started visiting their surgery as young as 13.
Okay.
I thought that particular world fascinated me mainly because I didn't understand the art of making someone get better. So that fascination led me to a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Before I knew it, I was at Wits and then I became a doctor.
There we go. My answer is very short.
Yeah, why?
I'm a child born to brown parents.
What does that even
They
mean?
made me become a doctor.
It's
true.
It's
true. I'm telling you. My father had this, and my mother probably. I can say my father because I think Mama always gives the idea for Papa Luna, but you know, behind every successful father is the most successful mother, right? Yeah. So yeah, my parents had this idea for all their kids want to be doctors.
Okay.
Between my parents, there's 5 children.
Okay.
And the first 3 are doctors.
Like for real, for real.
Like for real. My older brother is a plastic. It's a specialist general surgeon.
Okay.
Private practice, academia also, so he does both.
Okay.
They're in Limpopo.
Yeah.
And then it's me.
Okay.
In general practice.
Yes.
Dabbled in forensic medicine. The vet circuit did not handle me with care, so I exited. My 3rd to 4th year of specializing as a registrar.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everything happens for a reason because I don't see myself in a career where I'm talking to dead people and speaking for dead people my whole life. I really love the live people industry.
But also when I'm thinking sis of who you are in the wellness space, it would have been lost. I'm not saying you wouldn't have made an amazing forensic.
And you know, I actually used that background of forensics to bring it here in terms of advising family, friends, patients when they come into such situations. And I did an advisory work for that medical legal space also because I had that background of medicine and law kind of thing. So it's never wasted.
You've kept it.
Yeah, so knowledge and education is never wasted. You always apply somewhere else.
But wellness gained in SH.
And then my sister behind me, number 3 in the list of my father's children. She's also a GP in Cosmo City, so here in the Joburg North also.
I think every family should do that. Like just impose the career.
I mean, just like we see the vision. We see the vision, follow. You don't know what you want. But you know, my kids have all these funny ideas about what they're gonna do. And you know what? I get you a soft parenting.
They are allowed because when listen, your mom and dad crawled so you could fly. You're flying. The kids must literally soar to space.
But I always laugh and say my parents made me because they did. But I stayed because I ended up loving it. It was in line with my spirit. Did you fall in love with it? I want to say 3rd year because in Medunsa, we did non-clinical for the first 2 years completely. It was literally chem, biochem, biophysics, chemistry, stats, all of that stuff in first year. Yes. 2nd year was lab work, so practical anatomy and physiology. And then 3rd year, we were introduced to clinical subjects, and then we only had 1 actual practical, which was obstetrics. We had to catch 20 babies, or minimum 12, but they encouraged 20. In 3rd year, and the 20 could have been at least 12 of those or 10 of those should have been you involved, hands-on catching, not alone, supervised, but you're at the forefront. But obviously, you always you see 1, then do 1, then you teach 1. So you have to see a few, And then I went to Mamelodi Day Hospital because I have family in Mamelodi. So I stayed by the house in D2. And then I was traveling to the day hospital, and this whole thing, the midwives being horrible. I only had the best experience. Like the nurses that I was there for like 5 days. For the first 2 days was literally that seeing. And I guess I was lucky, all things working out as they should. There was lots of deliveries in the middle of the random week in J. It was during our July holidays. Yes.
So winter
break. Yeah, during our winter break. Yeah. So then seeing them and how they handle patients, and I guess the cliche again, that whole life coming into being, and you're taking part in that. It was just beautiful, and
you're actively taking part.
Exactly, you literally. So that was like how precious life is, and how privileged I am to be able to touch people in that manner, but also to help people who need my help in that regard. And then 4th year was now you start your clinical rotations alongside lectures. So you have like lecture blocks and clinical blocks. And by 5th year, then you're fully integrated. If you're in class in the morning, afternoon, you're in the hospitals, kind of a thing. Right? So that's when I actually thought, I can do this. Funny enough, obstetrics is not.
I was about to ask you which rotation. did you like the most, and which one didn't you like?
I did not like neurology. Internal medicine, Nkosi yam, the brain traumatized me, the cranial nerves, the parasympathetic systems. Yo, that section literally always put me in parasympathetic system. I was just never ready. I was just never ready to tackle that section. But so obviously I did, yes. So I didn't hate it, but I just had an aversion to it. Loved surgery, plastics. Loved plastics.
That's interesting.
So I didn't like obstet, but I just liked that whole the coming into life part. You know? Yeah. There was a time when I used to be mad about babies. I'm not anymore. I don't say this to my children.
Interesting. No, but the turn is interesting because now I'm curious to see which part of made you not invest in it anymore, like it from a passion point of view.
The obstetrics. The mess of people giving birth. I see the babies cute, but the mess. Forget the poop. I cannot stand amniotic fluid. The consistency. And it has a funny smell. It's not a sick, dirty. It's just got a smell that I'm just like, why is the baby swimming in there for 9 months? Like, baby, why are you not drowning in this thing? Like,
they're not
like, why are they not from this smell of this thing, you know? So it's that.
Oh my gosh!
And a little bit of how unpredictable it is.
Okay,
I'm type A. I need to know what's gonna happen. Like you know.
No,
and you know in medicine you can never say never. You can never say always, and you should always be ready to be humbled.
And it can go from 12 hours to 26 hours sometimes in labor.
Exactly. But I think obstetric is a bit too OTT.
It's a bit wild.
Exactly.
Funny enough, I enjoyed orthopedics. There's one of the shortest rotations.
Yes.
I was surprised because I was fainting half the time in surgery because of the gowns
and then lifting those heavy legs.
But every time I'd manage to recover from a good faint, I'd be like, what did I miss? And I'm right back in there.
But literally the C-arm protection gowns and hold the leg before we manipulate. And I was like, this is not my chat. Mechanics. I'm going to have shoulder lesions. So yeah.
Loved also.
So, okay, I'm going to put this down because I want to ask you a question.
Oh, it's getting serious. What's happening?
I want to just quickly take it from when you spoke about the perception of the doctors when you were growing up, like what you saw as the image of what you saw as a doctor.
Yeah.
That and bring it to there are our colleagues in the community who still think everything starts and ends with them, right?
Yeah.
Which for me perpetuates that stereotype of doctors feel like, or doctors think they're better.
Yes.
I'm sure you're aware of the current struggle of doctors who are unemployed. And what I'm hearing a lot is, why do doctors think they're better and should be given jobs? Meanwhile, there's unemployed engineers, unemployed ban.
Okay, fair.
And even if you come from a point of health is one of those things that's like tops in the constitution and all those things, right? Yes, doctors can't work if the electricity is not working, whatever. I hear you. But we don't have enough. And the background of how much the government and which means subsidize medical training. We send people to Cuba and all those things. And then just tell them, listen, have a private, leave the country. You know what I'm saying? So, and in people's then the response is, why do doctors think they're better and should be employed? So that whole stereotype of why do doctors think they're better?
Okay.
I'm just bringing it here to this question. Ngoba, you and I have gone through very human-like challenges, right?
Yeah.
And when I was in there, I didn't think as a doctor I know better. I should know how to heal.
Special.
So, because my body does not know that I'm a doctor. I may have better tools or have access to more ways of healing because of my colleagues, the people I've referred to, and all those things. I may know quicker referrals for myself and things like that. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to heal from whatever I needed to heal from by myself, because like you said, it's a multiple disciplinary and community-based kind of thingy.
Yes.
And I just want you to touch a little bit on how that looked like for you when you had to deal with the fact that your human body does not know that you're a doctor, and therefore it does get sick.
Yes.
And it can get gravely sick.
Surprise, surprise.
And then when you need to heal, it doesn't follow. I'm a doctor. I know better. You know what I'm saying? Because you and I are not those kind of doctors.
Yeah.
Who think we know it all. We are better than other people and all those things because we did MBCHB.
Yes.
I'm very much aware of the GR in front of my name has nothing to do with the doctorate and the PhD.
Right.
And I bow down to the NQF level 10 people. You know what I'm saying?
100%. No, but it's a real thing that you're raising, because I think social media also, especially over the last 10 years, has amplified that perception. Because social media almost demands that you portray the positive, which for us in medicine is strength, knowledge, I'm together, right? And then of course, I'm invincible. So when life does humble us as doctors and we are humanized, for lack of a better term, sometimes it actually shocks our followers or the audience. We say, how can't now we are cool? I'm like, actually, yes, I bleed. So
I'm not plastic.
Right? And I think
I'm not plastic.
If you remember even how I entered the Twitter space, I came in with the hashtag saying doctors are people too. And I was intentional.
Doctors are human too, yes.
Exactly. Because I had recognized that at that early age when I graduated, Nuguti, there is a disconnect that sometimes is assigned to us, that we're different. I don't think we've assigned ourselves the special label, by the way. Society is like the type we are forged from a society point of view around our title.
And then you are there.
UDR.
You know, exactly. Hence I was like, it goes back to that, how you saw a doctor at that.
Yes.
Until you were in the industry, studying and seeing what you know.
That's very human.
We were also very human. We succumb. They have habits that are not aligned with what we practice.
Yes, or
preach.
They
don't practice what they preach.
Yes.
All of those things.
Yes.
We do succumb to human physical stuff and mental stuff. You know what I'm saying?
True.
You have your own business. I have my own business. And I'm raising children. You are raising other things.
And the challenges?
The challenges are like immense. But people always expect you to have it together. Whenever you can't have an off day.
Yeah.
And it's not fair for a patient to walk in and see me down. If I'm on that level where I'm going to bring like negative vibration type of energy to work, my healing space, then I shouldn't go to work. I should have awareness to say, listen, clear the diary. Tell them, just like when I had the bike accident. It happened on a Sunday. Right. The next Monday I'm supposed to be at work. And at that time, I'm in ICU. So you can't even arrange for a locum, right? You know what I'm saying? And they just had to clear the diary. And only on Wednesday when I could speak
then you could communicate
and say, okay, listen, I'm going to be out for a while. Please get a locum now, kind of a thing.
I think that's where we need to hold ourselves accountable. The way most of us as doctors run our practices, they are one-woman shows, one-man shows. I think if there's an Achilles heel in this thing of being superheroes, I think the way we create our business models, they run based on us. Let's own that. Because I think a lot of the time when you go private as a doctor, your perception that you'll always be okay, that you'll always be available for your
also
patient.
Contribute to that.
So I think we contribute to this discussion of doctors think we're a different breed by how we operate in the practice of healing. So we'll come in, we won't consider already having a replacement doctor, right? We think of succession once the first health scare happens. Then we're like, freak, And for me, what was humbling was, for the first 40 years of my existence, had never seen a hospital as a patient, had never had surgery, had literally been that girl. All the time.
Who kept it going?
The thick crowd that never. I always say my thighs never decline, right? And I think what was humbling for me was, for the very first time that my body signaled any kind of illness.
And said, you sit down for the next couple of months.
It literally had to be a whole list of things. I'm like that girl. Then by the time I presented to the specialist, it was a litany of, here's what's not going well. And it wasn't because I wasn't doing my checkups. It's because one condition literally led to a domino effect of complications.
Exactly.
And this is now the healthy patient. And I do think that we owe it to a lot of our patients when we speak to address the health journey not as you're never going to encounter illness.
Yes.
Because all of us at some point are going to have the unexpected.
Exactly.
What's powerful, I think, about how you and I have tried to live even our personal lives from a health point of view is because of the little things we pour in every day. If you look at our recovery journeys as doctors
quicker,
right? That's not to say that those who didn't recover, it's their fault.
No,
but I do think that what gets missed a lot with wellness is that the fact that it's the invisible habits that you build that when you really need them, they're gonna come.
I didn't recover quicker because I'm a doctor. I recovered quicker because I get up, I exercise, I try my best to eat as healthy as I can.
Right.
I'm mindful of my body, and where I feel like I need to mend a few things, I do it, and I do it in time. Because even my physio just kept saying, I cannot believe how quickly you're recovering.
Right.
Your muscle memory is so great. Right. You know, like from torn quads to running in 9 months, kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so grateful that. And this is who I was as a child. And as I played sports right up until 5th year. I mean, the only reason I dropped netball in 6 days because the schedule wasn't allowing for training and matches and having to be in the hospital and stuff like that. And the minute I finished 6th year, I was an intern in Polokwane. The only people I knew there was like 2 or 3 people. I was at the gym the whole time. Yeah. That was my way because it was a thing that I identified with was easy for me. I used to save my pocket money and pay. At the time was Health and Racket Club.
Yo, Health
exactly.
And Racket.
I was on the student plan. Yeah, 90 rands per month. Do you know what I'm saying? That was money that people could have
not the money I see now.
Gone out. People could have gone out drinking, buying stuff, doing hair. I mean, I was paying for gym, but I didn't have to, and I was getting like 300 rands a month. Come on, like my parents was like, when you come home, we do things for you. You buy things when you're home. You don't need a lot of money. I still prioritized my health, so my body knew what to do. But it's the choices. So when you are a patient, I know for me there was a level of, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I was scared to look at my face because I fell off my bicycle.
That's interesting.
And I fell on my face.
Okay.
So although I didn't look at myself, I think until the Thursday when they moved me out of
how many days?
ICU to high care to I was in hospital for a total number of 6 days.
Okay.
So I didn't look at myself until I had to wash my nose. The ENT gave me this saline rinsing kit and said, you need to get rid of the blood out of your sinuses.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And the first time I looked at myself, I was scared. Not scared of the fact that I knew I had disfigured my face.
Okay.
I was more scared of my kids are going to see this and are they going to be okay? Right? Okay. So it literally moved to that. Maybe I'm just a typical firstborn Stapora daughter and I keep it moving.
They keep it
but there was fear. And I actually specifically said they must not come and see me.
Okay.
They were young. My daughter's now 18, 17, 20, so she was 14, so my son was under 12. So he wouldn't have been allowed. Okay. So I used that as the excuse. He would have probably passed if he came, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they're not allowed in ICU, kind of thing. I wanted to also them see me when I'm at home, which is a safe space. I'm not in the hospital, it's scary. You go into this machine, whatever, and your mom's in bandages and stuff like that. I was scared.
Okay.
There was definitely I'm so scared of, is it going to be okay for my kids to see me like this? What will they think? Are they going to be okay? I was in pain. I didn't care about how I looked.
But that's a very human thing to be scared. How did you face that part? Because, I mean, 6 days is a stretch. For humans like us who have never been even on a hospital bed.
Exactly, except for me when I gave birth. and I was like, I'm not bleeding, am I? I'm going home now. And the guy is like, but you got 3 days here. I'm like, for what? I gave birth yesterday at 4 p.m. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Discharge me. I'm going to hear myself. Oh,
So now you are in a state where you didn't have that control. One, I fully embrace what you're saying about the fear of how people now perceive you.
My children, mostly.
Right? Your children. What else, if you could tell us, were you scared of having? And you see, accidents is a form of trauma you have no control over initially with the recovery plan. When you were having the specialist come and see you every day, what was your biggest worry after that accident?
So the first question I asked the orthopedic doctor, because he comes in, he's like, yeah, no, you did a good job on your knee, you flattened your patella, your quadriceps were torn, I've stitched them with this, I've done this, your left foot got multiple fractures in 2 toes, and then look at your hand. Oh no, he gave me that. I was a proper polytrauma. So first I was scared when I was on the tar road.
Yeah, alone.
At the nature's reserve where I was cycling. Look, there were other cyclists with me.
Sure.
I was scared from there of dying.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Nobody so far, maybe they've already passed me or whatever. Nobody here so far has shown interest or knowledge of first aid.
Me. Yeah.
I'm literally sitting here waiting for the ambulance. I know I fell on my face because I could feel the pain. Am I internally bleeding in my brain?
Okay.
I started having visions of McDreamy in the field dying there. I need burr holes. Nobody here will give me burr holes. Who's gonna decompress my brain? Oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying?
Dying.
But then I quickly went into survival mode. Adrenaline kicked in. I started feeling pain. I started just saying to myself, okay, you are breathing, you're alive, and therefore you're not dead yet.
There's a chance.
Yes. And I started feeling like from the tips of my fingers, what am I feeling? Okay, I can feel there's a pain in this one.
Yeah.
This one feels okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on my knees at the point. I got up and said, I wasn't aware that this leg was broken, by the way, when I set up like that, because my quadriceps were off. So I wasn't really able to move or stand whether I wanted to, right? Yeah. So I stayed on my knees like that.
Okay.
And then one of the cyclists came and put the jacket on me because mine was in the car.
Okay.
Because I think I was shivering a bit.
Okay.
And then, you know, this cyclist checked on me for months. I think it was into 2021. To check and see how I'm doing. It's a pity I had a phone malfunction and I lost our chat, so I could check the date. No, I've got his number. Okay. But he checked in on me. A stranger who just stood by me until the ambulance came and took me. I was cycling with a friend, so he was also there.
Community.
Right? Yes. So it was from there. Then it was getting into the ER and being like, when are they going to take me to the OR? Because I know some things up. And and I opened my eyes, and the trauma surgeon on call.
Yeah.
I was like, looking back, it's so weird. This guy used to teach us ATLS. He is the professor of trauma
joking.
at CH Barra. He was on call.
Thank the good Lord.
Right?
Because also top talent.
Yo!
Because also
and I was like,
look at God looking out for you.
And when I saw his face,
yeah.
And he's like, what did you do to yourself, Mageli? I literally relaxed and went into whatever. They gave me morphine because I knew I was going to
You're going to be okay.
I was like, if he's here overseeing the team,
yeah,
nothing's, whatever I've got,
yeah,
he can fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I just relaxed into it, right? And then it was the thing of, like you were saying about solo practices.
Yeah.
Soon thereafter, I was like, I can hire a locum for a week, for 2 weeks, but a locum for 3 months, my practice, I might as well shut down, right?
Do you know how expensive they are?
No, forget that. Your patients want you.
Yeah.
You know, I hear you say that it's a flawed model. It is, but also healing is that personal.
It is personal.
You know,
right.
They don't want to come in and tell a new doctor, yeah, and I was sick for the past 17 years. When Rato knows me for the past 12 of those 17 years, so she's got my whole history.
Got you.
But another thing, another topic, another podcast, because you're going to have to learn that I'm also a human who has children, can get injured, can get thingy, and somebody must be there. So we should have like a multi-partner, you know,
continue the care.
Multiple partner practices are the future.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was that income thing. Because, you know, income protection only pays you a percentage of what you make.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So there was multiple things happening. And knowing that I broke my wrist and torn my tendons, I was very worried that I'm going to have dysfunctional.
You work a lot with your hands.
Look, I still have the after effects of that injury. Okay. I can't write very well.
It's not visible. Thank God.
I can't write very well, and I get tired easily. Okay. So I tend to type my notes now, and I'm trying to move on to vocal recording and speaking transcript, right? Okay. Transcribe, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things happening, but the main thing was my kids. I didn't want to, like, my kids were young. I didn't want to, you know, and I don't know, I just have the people that I have in my life, I suppose, and I gave birth to the kids that I gave them, or I raised them the way that I raised them. They were so chilled about it.
Okay.
And they started calling me Michael Jackson because I was wearing a glove on my hand for compression and stuff like that. Okay. And it was just jokes after jokes. And that let me know that it's two things. They're either dealing with it in this manner, so that they don't, it doesn't traumatize them too much, or that they're just like, oh, we know mom's going to be fine. And she's well enough to be teased. Let's go in hard. Or they were doing that to make me feel better, so that I'm not sad. They can make me laugh.
I think so very few people get to hear this side of us. They think we get knocked by life and we have this manual of like
dust it off and try again.
Exactly.
Quickly overnight. No.
Right. We have these private meetings with our colleagues who diagnose us, and then tomorrow we're back up and running. How did faith play a role in you recovering? Because a lot of people also think science and the spiritual world are divorced.
And they're not. And I can tell you now, the minute I left the nature reserve in the ambulance and wasn't dead, and I saw the professor of trauma and I wasn't dead, immediately then my healing started.
Okay.
So I'm like, I didn't die. I didn't need burr holes, and my helmet cracked.
Okay.
Right, I fell on my face and not on my head.
Okay.
So that's hence the facial injuries.
Understood.
But my helmet cracked, so there was a lot of pressure absorbed by the helmet into my brain. The neurosurgeon could not believe that my brain was unscathed. So all these things they're telling me and give me feedback said to me, I didn't die for a reason.
There we go.
So by the time I left the hospital, the mission was, you didn't die for a reason. Find out what is the reason this happened.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason, whether it's for me, personal pause.
Okay.
I needed to change direction in my life.
Okay.
I needed to change direction in my profession. Whatever it was, I had to go and look for it, right? And I had time.
Okay.
Because I was home, but it's like strictly home forever for 3 months without movement. I had a sick note and I couldn't do anything about it. And every time I went for a checkup, they were like, I hope you're home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I might have taken a call or two
Sure.
about a patient or whatever, but I mean, I was home.
I think I'm proudest of us because of that as well. People see how hard we push. And I think how I gave it away was you and I are that present on social media. So for 2 years I was MIA. And I think that's how the world knew something's off with Dr. G. And I think when you're that consistent in your engagement, it was inevitable people were going to
ask questions.
Pick up.
Yeah.
But you were there, especially with my journey, and I'm super grateful for that because of exactly what you said in the beginning of my stubborn nature. I had picked up the symptoms. I'm honest enough to know that when I had the slower version, I guess, of trauma, you could say, right? Where always healthy, had been going to my gynae checkups. What was initially thought to have been fibroids ended up not being, right? But the slow growing masses then within 8 months changed.
Became a huge.
Accelerated in size, and I'd never been pregnant. So I haven't had the beautiful blessing of having children biologically. So I hadn't also known what it feels like to have a growing uterus. Therefore, I just thought, oh, girl is getting kabam. Doing the most in life, and I remember when we first even engaged, I was telling you, I'm like, I've got this weird cover, but it's like a Jimile. And you were like, you know what? Yeah, when was your last check? And I said, you know, it's less than a year ago after I did my regular. And you were like, I think you should go. And I ignored your advice. So at least now I get to confess. Even my sister over here.
You did what patients do.
Exactly.
Yes, they think it's going to get better.
I was like, next month. What sent me to my health scare spiral was I started getting progressively short of breath on walking. Now, I might not be a jogger, but I'm a great walker, right? And the thing with me is because I enjoy walking so much, I started noticing the difference. But when I couldn't climb one flight of stairs without huffing and puffing like I had just climbed the steps in I knew, even if I am denying this, something's wrong. Because I wasn't having the normal excessive bleeding, all the other symptoms. I literally just had this boop and I had shortness of breath. By the time I present myself for that checkup, if it wasn't the GP I found, that's why I'm also so grateful to it's the helpers we found on the worst nights of our lives happen to be people who are so super qualified to support even us mentally. I'm always grateful. Because I was in a new city, didn't have you guys, because you know you and Marlon are my go-tos. So now I'm in this strange place, and I have a new doctor telling me, "Girl, how are you walking right now? Right
with this thing?"
Then they're reading all your results, and I remember even when I told you on WhatsApp how in denial I was like, they're not my blood results. I don't know who those blood results were, but and then I started rattling it. I'm like, Bati HB is this, Bati iron is this, Bati I'm a
and even I was like, how are you walking with an iron that lowers on the floor? You're scraping it off the floor. There's nothing left of you.
So I told you blasé because I don't think in my head I was walking. So unlike, for example, when I think about what happened to you, in a split second,
before you crash, you can't walk.
Mina, I'm having the slow version. So I think there was time for me to go through the stages of grief, right?
Yeah, grief,
because it was definitely first denial. Dilulu was really the solution for me. I was like, I don't know what these results are. I've been impeccable. I haven't had anemia. I am I'm a patient who has a history of anemia, but the last time I was anemic, I was 21. Here I am 20 years later being told I'm 2 weeks away from heart failure. Like, who does that? Not me, right?
Exactly.
And I think because we hadn't yet bedded down the cause, what helped was, while I was huffing and puffing, I managed to say to her, my last gynae checkup was on this date. It could be that. She did not waste a minute. She got on the phone and she said, I'm getting an appointment right now.
Because it's the date and this don't correlate. It's too fast.
So she was like, if this is the only thing that's actually wrong with you, let's just check it out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, sis, had I not gone to that appointment, yes, I would have been an ICU patient.
Exactly.
So I think what also helps in the journey of us admitting that healing is a very, not just personal thing, but it's about the awareness and the intention. I think the thing also people miss is you have to listen to good instruction. And I don't think doctors sometimes get the credit of how well they advise in a moment of crisis.
Exactly.
And because we always are known to be terrible patients, we don't listen. I think the humbling moment was definitely when I did get to the gynae and it was bad news, right? You and I have talked about this a lot. We break bad news all the time.
Right, but to hear it for yourself is like, what do you mean?
I'm glad she didn't spare me. I'll give Dr. Dutoit this credit. On examination, there's that look. You and I know the look because we've done it before, ne? The doctor's examining you.
And they're like, oh, in their head, they're like,
the expression changes.
This is a mess. Now they're working out how to break it to you.
Yes. So she's examining. She says, how long? So she's not asking those questions, but the pitch is changing. How long have you had this for? You explain me. And she's like, are you aware it's this advanced? I'm like, no. So she's like, yes, you're a small build, so you might have not been aware, but she's like, she stopped. I'll always appreciate this moment. She stopped the exam. She put the ultrasound machine down. She says, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been a whatever specialist surgeon for X amount of years. I've been 21. I know fibroids.
This is not it.
Yeah. And I think that's when my moment of, I am now gutted on the floor. I stopped being a doctor from that exact moment. I went into such an interesting mode of, I'm sick.
Okay, do whatever you need to do. Fix me. I'm at your mercy, doctor.
Right? But also I think because when she mentioned the actual type of cancer she was considering, I was like, wait, that's the aggressive one. So in that moment at 41, I'm going, wait, I could be gone in a
6
year.
months?
And she was like, whatever it is, that's what brought me back to life in that moment. In the same moment she's breaking down the possibility, she goes, whatever it is, I need you to do 2 things for me as you walk out of this room. She did not know me. This was my first interaction with her specialist. But what I'm grateful for, in that moment, I think she knew what I needed. She says, don't Google. Tell a doctor not to Google. She goes,
I'm going to my Harris internal medicine, my Harrison's internal medicine manual. All the textbooks.
She says, don't Google. And she says, number 2, you are benched. Until I take this thing out, because whatever it is, the only solution that's going to stop all the complications is for me to take it out.
Surgery is next week.
Yes. Unfortunately for me, by the time she did the CT scan, she realized she can't take it out next week. Right?
But I remember.
They found the clots.
And then also had to optimize you health-wise, iron, all those things before you go in for surgery.
So I was a heart risk-ish patient. They couldn't go in because the heart was definitely going to stop because of the iron levels. And then, of course, now I developed these interesting blood clots. When she lifts the mass,
it's going to bleed.
Either bleed or I'm going to shoot a clot straight to my lungs and then have pulmonary embolus. I had never, and that's why I want to go back to the little things we did right. I had never been benched in my life on sick leave. It took my little sister reminding me she doesn't remember me being on sick leave.
Hello.
And then here we are, you on 3 months. I'm on 3 months pre-surgery, and then I was on
3
9 months
post-surgery.
I don't know how we did it, But here's why this is an important thing to highlight, because we were talking about this thing that it's a roadmap. Had we not rested that well, I don't think they would see these
recovery will be this big.
No, they wouldn't.
Well, exactly.
They wouldn't. But because we didn't publicize that part of our journey, we gave obviously versions of it after we recovered.
Yeah.
I do appreciate this conversation and this question, because I think people think sometimes it is magical. You are sick, you come back yourself. You are yourself. And they like, there's no way Lerato was in an accident
like
there's
this.
no way Utsidi nearly died
exactly.
of some tumor, right? And the thing is, benign tumors can also kill you.
They can, because they can eat you literally alive inside, cause your heart failure and all those things.
Listen, those are very healthy things. You know the running joke that you guys always say, it's a bad joke, that I was saying my womb got bored
because it wasn't making babies. It grew things of itself, of its own. You know what I'm saying? But wombs do that, right? Because I have fibroids,
right? And I do think this question of the healing journey and what it looks like, for me, it looks like what we were saying. The awareness. We were aware something was off. You in your life in that moment had been in an accident. You are aware you're not okay.
I'm not okay.
I had subtle symptoms that were telling me it's not the normal CD, and we listened. You didn't move at the critical time when you are trying to be in survival mode, because it matters.
It matters.
Some people
I didn't move and damage things further.
So it's the awareness, it's the listening, and then it's literally letting other people take the lead. I think the village we also were both blessed with, spiritually, medically, socially. I know how much your pep talks on stay put, don't freaking get out of that bed, because you know me, right? I was like, 9 months.
It's coming to work.
I'm like, the scar is healed. I don't understand this thing. But you kept saying, not the blood clots, not the anemia. Like you're not gonna go backwards.
Exactly.
But people think it is easier for us to follow this advice. It isn't. It takes the community. It takes the support.
And I always say that it's actually harder because I know all the complications that can happen with me.
Yes.
Right? And then I'm more scared of what could happen with me.
Yeah.
But then also on the thing, but I also know how to heal, sort of. So I can jippo the system and sort of accelerate and go kind of a thing. But then the middle comes through on some, you must follow the process. And I think you can't stretch your tendons quickly. You need to go slowly. Your knee needs to recover. You can't just go into a full squat before, otherwise snap goes the tendon again.
Yeah, we listened. It sounds so simple, right?
And then we healed. we healed, right?
I'm proudest, because a world without you is unthinkable, because I'm glad we did it this way. Thank you.
Right. I'm so happy you came all the way from Cape Town and squeezed me in
for you.
Your very, very busy schedule.
I owed you this. Like, I have traveled with you, I think, longer than most of my medical anything.
Yeah.
Like, you're more than a friend. You're a sister. But also, I look back at the fact that our earthly angel is the reason we met. And how I know right now she's smiling, because she's like, these two are for life.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And how bossy you were then and how bossy you are now.
It's a character trait I cannot shame.
And I love it.
It is what it is.
I'm stubborn. I need that. Yeah. I need a big sister who's like, no,
this
isn't negotiable.
Exactly.
You are sitting this out. Yeah. You're not. And also thank you for reminding me that the work continues after the rest. I didn't want to come back online. Yeah, I think I shared that with you to say, for me, when I recovered, I felt this is the best time to retreat.
Yeah, to exit and be gone.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that's always inspired me about you is how committed you are to the educational part of wellness, and how you were like, we don't get to stop. Right? Yeah. Not that it's like now a prison, but what you reminded me of, the value of having the likes of people like us who've seen all kinds of medicine, who've also seen the digital world transform.
Exactly.
Also in an age of influencer culture, I'm very proud of the quality of work you put out, sis. No, I genuinely am.
When I do these days, I'll do better.
We
I
guess
this is part of that.
We are reclusive a little bit, right? But I do think the younger generation is supportive. I really, really like the specialist journey, though. Seeing specialists absorb social media on an educational basis has been the most satisfying because how many times we used to beg them. Now it's like I can't get enough of from orthopedics to neuro. People are educating, and I look at how we started 10, 15 years ago. I'm proud we can say we're one of the OGs. And I do think in this podcast people should go, right? Not because we want to blow our own horn. I think it takes the start.
It does. You must just start.
To then enjoy seeing everybody else understand just how easy it actually is. Because back in our time, we were doing graveyard shifts on Twitter.
I know. We were then the DMs answering questions until I was like, I don't do Twitter consultations because I won't sleep. I will not sleep because more the DM answering my what has a rash. No.
You never
that was Cindy's chat
domain, right?
I was like, cut, I won't sleep.
I do think she'd appreciate that we've taken it forward in our own way. Yeah. And thank you for this. I think the humanizing of doctors is an important subject.
Yeah.
Because even for our own peers, I think we need to give ourselves permission to be human, to rest. I think we need to also integrate the lessons we tell our patients in our own lives.
Absolutely.
Because if we abruptly end our own stint on earth, there'll be even less of us. Right? And I'm also really, really happy to see you take so much joy in showing people all your layers.
Yeah.
Like you've taught me to own that part.
Yeah.
Because I would hide my life like my life depends on it.
And it's not even like just putting your life out there. But I just feel like being relatable helps when you're trying to educate people. They don't see there's no disconnect.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
True.
And I mean, like for education, I feel like it's in my genes. My father was a lecturer after he retired from private practice as a lawyer. My mother was a teacher actually.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like ingrained in me. So though they wanted me to be a doctor, they didn't know that they were actually making me a teaching doctor kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying?
I like
so
that.
then you can't be disconnected from the people that you're teaching.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, but in a high or we don't see that about her. So how can we believe what she? And I mean, I don't share to become relatable.
I got you.
But it just so happens that when you do share, you become relatable. Therefore, teaching becomes easier.
I absolutely love your content. When I'm lazy, I make sure that I go visit your profile.
Oh my gosh, she was
listen, such a groupie. Not even a stalker. I'm a hardcore groupie. Yeah. Like I'm Terry Health all the way in case people are confused. But thank you for staying the course, because for those of us who take breaks, especially digitally, you remind me of the consistency of serving our communities and social media is where it's at. Let's keep it real, ne?
Exactly. Because you can reach that much more,
so much more
than I do in my rooms.
So much more.
So I'm just so glad that we're able to do this and serve in this manner.
Don't change this. Don't change. And like I can't believe you have not released a book yet. So I would like to officially challenge her. Because
oh my gosh,
I'm on my second
book. She's releasing a second book.
That is fucking pressure because me and retirement.
But let me tell you quickly.
Yes.
I started writing a book.
Good.
But life had to happen.
Okay.
So it can be more meaningful.
Okay.
So watch this space.
Love it.
Dropping soon.
Over here.
Dropping soon.
Over here.
Yes.
It
wasn't ready. It wasn't ready to be released.
Okay.
I see now that it was not released in 2015 when I was writing it.
I believe in that. When I look at the fact that it was 10 years between the first Rock Diamond and the second one, I had nothing to add.
Exactly.
Until those 10 years.
Now you do. Because now you got a histological diagnosis.
Yes, Lalela in the Shire is a koalapa.
My sister, I love you.
I love you more.
This has been so meaningful, so healing.
Thank you for the food.
Because healers also need healing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Doctors need lots of love, guys. Please hug a doctor today.
I'm hugging mine right now. I love you so much. I love you.
Thank you.
Okay. And with that, thanks for tuning in. Share, like, subscribe. Dr. Lovelee on Instagram. Dr. Lovelee on Facebook. Dr. Lovelee on Live on YouTube. Give it up for Dr. G.
All things lovely.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
Over and out.